right, we are back. It is January 9th, 2023. Raw just went off the air. Judgment Day, the new number one contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Sound a little bit strange to you? Let me say that again. The Judgment Day are the new number one contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championships. See the little subtle seed planting that WWE began tonight? Interesting. Shout out to everybody who picked up on it right away. And believe it or not, Roman Reigns may be following a similar path. We will talk about it in a little bit. And we got a few things to get into today. I want to try to do this as quickly as possible because I am exhausted. That tag team turmoil, very predictable, a lot of fun, went an hour. By the way, for those asking, the Finn Balor injury was just to kill a little bit of time. A little bit of a breather for Damian Priest, who was in there for almost an hour, and also use that storyline for Dominik Mysterio to get in there as well. And for anybody out there that is already bitching that why did they let Dominik be in the match, all I have to say is I got two words for you. New Day. New Day had 3 members, 2 tag team titles. You know, not a big deal. But anyway, let's talk about it. So, for those that might have missed Raw tonight, we had the Usos and Solo Sikoa make an appearance. Now, it was kind of cheesy after they attack Kevin Owens, because Roman Reigns is going to be facing Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble, which keeps Kevin Owens out of the Royal Rumble match. Think about that. But after Kevin Owens won his match tonight, the Usos, you really can't even say that the Usos attacked Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens went right after Jey Uso. But Adam Pearce tells the Usos that they are banned from the building. But no, Solo Sikoa, you stay. You're going to have a match with Dolph Ziggler. I mean, talk about random. And Solo keeps his winning streak going. So, singles winning streak. But before Adam Pearce ejected the Usos, he basically told them, hey, guys, we're going to do a tag team turmoil match tonight. And the winner of that tag team turmoil is going to get a shot at your Raw Tag Team Championships. So there is a possibility that the Usos could go into WrestleMania with only one tag team championship. I don't know. I mean, the Judgment Day are now the new number one contenders. Very, very interesting. Judgment Day has been on fire for quite some time. Personally, I don't see the Judgment Day winning the Raw Tag Team Championships. Not yet. Not just yet. I don't think they would be the ones to dethrone. But you might remember our conversation about 2 weeks ago that even if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn beat the Usos at WrestleMania, the idea that they were going to hold both tag team championships didn't feel like that was going to happen. So, yeah, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will still fight the Usos at WrestleMania. There might only be one title on the line. And you know what? I'm fine with that. Because I think people out there just want to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn reunite. Not yet, because people love Sami Zayn in the bloodline. But obviously, all good things must come to an end at some point. And WWE is not going to change that course simply because the storyline is so great, it's got to go into WrestleMania. So we had 1 hour, 1/3 of Raw tonight, straight up tag team turmoil match. Judgment Day beat the OC, went about 25 minutes. A lot of fun seeing members of the Bullet Club and Damian Priest battle it out a little bit. Then we had Shelton and Cedric, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander. And guess what, my friends? Guess what? We may actually see this again. Now, I don't see Shelton and Cedric holding tag team gold anytime soon, but we may actually be getting the Hurt Business reuniting. Tonight on Raw, Bobby Lashley made his expected to return. As we said all along, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley is going to be at WrestleMania. It's not going to be at the Royal Rumble. All that clickbait that it was going to be a cage match, it's not happening. In fact, you should see the announcement next week that Brock Lesnar is going to enter the Royal Rumble. In fact, check this out. They just released a new Royal Rumble poster. If you want to go check that out, if you are checking out audio only, just do a Google search for it. As you will see on there, Charlotte Flair is listed. Cody Rhodes is listed on the poster. We got Roman, Becky Lynch, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Rhea Ripley. Hell, I wouldn't mind them fighting one-on-one at the Royal Rumble, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. You think about the fact that we have 2 Royal Rumble matches going down that night, 2, men's and the women's. That would be an awful lot to try to put together in 3 to 4 hours' time. Sure, they can do it. WWE could go as long as they can, as long as the building allows it. That's an awful lot to ask for people. Plus, I think the Royal Rumble will overshadow their match. So the WrestleMania is still the track for those 2 guys. But, after Bobby Lashley, oh, and by the way, there's a little bit, undecidedness by fans out there. Is Bobby Lashley turning heel or is he not? Last week you saw sausage by a lot of news sites out there. They saw that little screenshot of MVP talking to Cedric and Shelton that we showed you last week, and they saw that and they said, oh, the Hurt Business might be reforming. Oh, if that's the case, then Bobby Lashley has to be a heel. So what did they write? Our sources tell us that Bobby Lashley is going to return as a heel. Did he come off as a heel tonight? No, I don't think so. He still wants a piece of Austin Theory. Yeah, I know it kind of seems like we're going backwards a little bit, but we did have a moment tonight where MVP showed up in the locker room, extended his hand to Bobby Lashley. It was kind of funny because Bobby Lashley refused to shake his hand, but then he follows up by saying that I respect you, and ultimately he does give him a fist bump. But MVP wants the Hurt Business back. Bobby Lashley says, not right now. So it looks like we're going to get the Hurt Business reforming. I like it. I absolutely like it. Listen, Dominik Mysterio tonight. That's why I'm wearing a little bit of, gangsta. We got the OG over here, New Jack, God rest his soul. The original gangster, New Jack. Some people out there still don't get it with the Dominik Mysterio stuff. Dominik Mysterio, and I'm not saying this to be nasty in any way, shape, or form. I am a huge fan. I shouldn't say huge. I'm becoming a huge fan of Dominik Mysterio. I've been in the camp of Dominik Mysterio for quite some time if you tune into these shows. And his, being in a holding cell, in a jail cell for a couple of hours and being shook that much that he thinks he's a, like a lifelong criminal, that he is, like tough as nails now. It's funny. It's funny. I mean, I know he's Hispanic, but it's almost like the ultimate, like, milquetoast white guy that, has never been in cuffs before, never been arrested, goes to jail, is in jail for a couple of hours, comes out, and they're like, yeah, I fucking survived. Just look at social media, look at Twitter. How many people have you come across on social media in the last 20 years? And they act like they're these larger-than-life street thug superheroes, and you don't know a fucking thing about them. And most likely they're probably in, the basement, or, they're in their whatever that they got. It's so ugly and decrepit that they don't ever show you any of that. We see that every day on social media. So Dominik Mysterio is almost like satiring quite a few people on social media. He fucking nailed it tonight. Reminded me of Conan. All I needed was a olale. I needed a raza. Wow, I actually did that. I've never done that in my life. I never was able to do that. Wow, maybe I just don't have to think about it, and it actually comes across. Come on, he fucking nailed it tonight. And somebody told me right before I went live that Dominik Mysterio got engaged last week. So Dominik, you gotta be kidding me, man. He's fucking crazy. Hey, Rojo Bear 24, thank you for the 5 spot, my friend. Much love, much love. Special shout out to you. Hope you're enjoying your evening. I hope you enjoyed Raw tonight. I mean, let's be honest. The overall Raw, skippable. I think skippable. I mean, if we read all the results, I don't think we really would have missed all that much. Yes, we will talk about Uncle Howdy and Alexa Bliss. By the way, I have an apology to make to Bianca Belair. Now, of course, she doesn't tune into these shows, but I still need to make the apology out of respect because I made a big mistake last week. If you remember last week on the show, I was joking about Bianca Belair. She had that cut on her chin, and I said, it was just strange how the blood just like stopped and dried up like literally seconds later. And it didn't move, it didn't flow, it didn't do anything, and it looked fake. It looked fake. That's why I said yes last week. It was not fake. She actually did get stitches. She did get stitches. So my apologies. It just came across last week. It just looked a little bit staged, but my apologies. By the way, speaking of stitches, what did Ray say tonight? Snitches get stitches. Now I know what Martha Stewart felt like. You see Damian Priest's reaction when Dominik threw that line out there. I don't think Damian Priest expected that line. Funny shit, man. They're killing it. They're killing it. Rhea Ripley. Hey, if you read between the lines tonight, Rhea Ripley will be in the Royal Rumble match. I don't think she wins it. I still think if they do a women's elimination chamber for a women's championship match at WrestleMania, I think Rhea Ripley needs to win that chamber. Just think, winning the Royal Rumble is legendary. It's history. It's history. You talk about it 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now. But you think of Rhea Ripley, how massive she is, how strong she is, how intimidating she is. Her winning the Elimination Chamber just feels that much more. So I'd rather see Rhea Ripley win the Elimination Chamber, to be honest with you. So, like I've been saying for a while, I think Becky wins the Rumble, Rhea wins the Chamber. If they flip-flop it, I'm fine with that as well. But, talking about upcoming events, it's very interesting how they're not really talking about it. You would have thought tonight would have been a great night to really focus on this a little bit. Maybe just hype it up a little bit more. In 2 weeks, we got this. In 2 weeks, we got the 30th anniversary of Raw. 30th anniversary of Raw. It's a big fucking deal. And, this is a lead into the Royal Rumble as well. So that's going to be a big event. And I'm a little surprised how little they're talking about it right now. And by the way, for those goofs online that are saying, oh, how could you do a logo with 3 X's? It looks like porn. Well, why don't you fucking X the NFL when they did Super Bowl 30? Shut the fuck up. Seriously. Just type in sports and Roman numeral XXX. That's something you would hear from Beavis and Butthead. Like you see the oh look, Raw XXX. Shut up. Fucking losers. People bitch about everything. You know what's awful today? I got to share it with you. Let's talk a couple of news tidbits quickly. Going to be a quick show tonight. And got some Mandy Sachs news. Mercedes Moné. Look, I'm going to throw it right out there. I have this thumbnail ready to go. And I am going to post it tonight or early tomorrow, the Hype Up Wednesday show. I'll have to put a question mark next to it. Because if it happens, then hey, cool. I've said it 1,000 times. If Mercedes Moné does wrestle on Dynamite Wednesday, as a wrestling fan, I will enjoy it tremendously. I, as a wrestling fan, want to see it. I have also bookmarked every journalist that I could find that didn't use the LY words like reportedly, likely, possibly, will be at Dynamite. No, I have bookmarked the journalist that wrote, she will. She will be at Dynamite. They are rolling the fucking dice. They just want to be in that history book. See, I was the first person that told you all she was going to be there. Personally, I think it's going to be bank closed. I don't think there's going to be no money for everyone Wednesday. I don't see her. Now, I know they already revealed Toni Storm as her partner. Hey, we said that 3 weeks ago, that it was going to be Toni Storm. You know, we were right. I mean, I didn't have any scoops. I didn't have anybody at Dynamite like, yo, DT, it's going to be Toni Storm. No, you just look. I don't see it. I'm still going with no money in the ring Wednesday. Make you stave? Sure. Sitting in the crowd? Never know. But as far as, oh, Sheeta's going to attack Storm and she will not be able to wrestle, and, oh, I just happen to have Mercedes Moné sitting in the back. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's talk a few more things. Women. You know, yesterday on a sit-down, we had a very interesting conversation about Tessa Blanchard. And literally 10 minutes after I finished the show, I got flooded with DMs and a few emails about Tessa Blanchard. And I don't know how to feel about this, because a lot of people online are just calling it karma for Tessa Blanchard. I got to show you something. And I don't like putting personal stuff out there. But since Daga and supposedly Tessa Blanchard put a joint statement out today, now I got to show you all right? 3 years ago, a little less than 3 years ago, Daga, who you saw in Impact, Lucha Underground, I believe, he got married to Tessa Blanchard about 2.5 years ago. Over the weekend, wrestling fans noticed that Daga and Tessa Blanchard unfollowed each other on social media. Honestly, I follow a lot of people on social media. I have some friends personally in wrestling that are on my private Facebook page that only my family is a part of. And I don't know how the fuck I ever get notified when somebody unfollows someone else. How people pick up on that, I have no idea. But in addition to them unfollowing each other on social media this weekend, Daga tweeted and deleted. And what he wrote, for all you people that don't like Tessa Blanchard, I might give you another reason right now. He posted this. He wrote in giant capital letters, cheating. Cheating is the most disgusting, hurtful, and disrespectful thing you could do to someone you say you love. Cheating. He quickly deleted that. But as we know, nothing is ever completely deleted. And now people are like, oh, fuck. Tessa Blanchard cheated on Daga. So things go quiet for about 12 hours. Then tonight, this gets posted on their Instagram. Let me tell you, look, I don't know them personally, but let me tell you why, in my opinion, she cheated on him. Let me tell you why. How many times in the celebrity world, sports world, personal people you know, when a husband and wife announce that they are going to divorce, that they are splitting up, how many times do they actually put in the statement reasons for the divorce? What I mean is abuse, cheating. Usually you just say, look, we agreed to go our separate ways and I wish so-and-so the best. Look at this weird statement that came out. This is supposedly from Miguel, that's his real name, and Tessa. They say, and I quote, after considerable thought, reflection, and mixed emotions, we have decided to separate. We are two strong-willed, hard-working, and resilient people who hold nothing but love for each other. As painful as divorce is, we are thankful that no infidelity or other interests were involved in our decision. I have never in my entire life ever saw two people break up, issue a statement, and throw a line there. Oh, by the way, there is no infidelity or no interest that involved in our decision. Why the fuck are you breaking up? We are parting as friends. We both want to see each other succeed and reach the pinnacle of success in our business and life. We want to thank you all in advance for your support as we navigate the next chapter of our lives, and we ask you to respect our privacy and keep us in your prayers. I don't like to see anybody splitting up. This is not funny. It's not entertaining. But I don't know how the fuck you go from this, from this. How do you go from that to this? Especially when you throw the line in there about the no infidelity. You know what that is? Listen, we're both wrestlers. We both have careers. You know, let's not throw the dirty laundry out there and fuck each other up. So let's throw the statement out there and bite our tongues. Oh, and by the way, since you asshole, you wrote that I cheated, you got to go and write that statement that, no, there was no cheating involved. I have never, that's like if somebody says, hey, you know, I heard DT got arrested. You don't know why, but I got arrested. And I make a statement like, listen, everyone, contrary to reports, I did not get arrested. I did not rob that bank. How do you throw examples out there? So we know the deal. I mean, we're not stupid. You know, just because people make 6 figures, 7 figures, doesn't mean that they're smarter than us. If you want a good example, go watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the WWF division, the WWF edition. I love him. I really love this guy, but I still echoes in my head Booker T not knowing what WWW stood for with the internet. That was pretty funny. So I don't know. What? Oh wait, was it the weakest link? Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Wait a minute. No. Was it the weakest link? Was it the weak? I know they're on. Weren't they on both? I don't know. You are the weakest. I know. I remember the weakest link because remember I did that satire. I did the weakest Mark Awards. You are the weakest Mark. I still have that audio somewhere. Back in the hotline days, friends, I was feuding with every hotline out there. They fucking hated my guts. And I did what I called the weakest Mark Awards. And I played clips from like a whole bunch of wrestling hotlines to show you how ridiculous these people were. And we did the weakest Mark Awards. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Well, anyway, they split. They're done. So I truly wish them the best. And I said a lot of nice things about Tessa Blanchard yesterday. So, you know, I definitely, you know, I don't care. I got to worry about my own relationships, honestly. But I wanted to share that with you because they publicly announced that they are divorcing. So, by the way, let me show you something else. Last week, we had some fun with this. And we thought it was David Flair. If anybody looks David Flair photos from the WCW days, especially when he was with Crowbar and Daphne, God rest their soul, you know, that could pass for David Flair. Seriously. Well, thank you to everyone who sent me a very recent photo of David Flair. So I can honestly say that is definitely not David Flair on the right. David Flair, you know, a little darker hair, you know, beard wouldn't have mattered, but looking happy and healthy, you know. And, you know, if you tune into this show, when we talk about healthy, we mean that there's a little bit of poundage, you know. Don't think that New Jack looks a little distorted on my shirt. It's just, you know, I'm wearing a size XL that, you know, might be stretched a little bit. So David Flair, yeah, he got a little big. Look, before Reed passed, I think he won the tag titles with Reed at some indie show. And I remember David Flair at that time being a little bit heavier, dark hair. If you actually look at the photo when Reed was still with us on this earth and still alive, David Flair doesn't look that much different from there. You know, maybe a little bit more weight. But, hey, bottom line is you see smiles, and that's what matters. You see smiles. All right. What other news? I don't think oh, here's another one. By the way, in a few minutes, we'll do predictions for New Year's Evil. You know, it's going to be a couple of surprises. We don't know what they are officially. The predictions are going to be very easy. It's a 2-hour show with commercials, 5 matches. You know, it's not much that we have to discuss. But if you're interested, Mandy Sachs Mandy Rose, will be on television. Supposed to be tomorrow. She told everyone it's going to be tomorrow. I don't see any preview that she'll be on tomorrow. There is a show, Tamron Hall. Any of you ever heard of her? Tamron Hall. When I used to watch, how many of you, a lot of you know who she is, honestly? Used to stay up late at night and watch episodes of Forensic Files. I can't remember what channel it was, but you stay up at night and you watch Forensic Files, and there was always a commercial for Tamron Hall, for her TV show. Mandy is supposed to be on tomorrow. Now, I checked the previews. I did a little bit of digging, and the only person that is featured, advertised for tomorrow is Margaret Cho. There is nothing listed about Mandy. So either she's going to tape an interview tomorrow and maybe it airs next week, but there is a possibility she may be part of that show tomorrow. There is no advertisement at all for Mandy Sachs, Mandy Rose. But it's a big deal because she is going to talk about a WWE release. She's going to talk about fan time. She's going to talk about, it's about power with women. And she's going to clear up a couple of things that people have just gotten totally wrong about her release. She's not going to go out there and say, yeah, I knew I was doing something wrong, but I did it anyway because I knew I was going to break the bank from it. She's not going to say anything like that. She's going to be very professional about it. But you might want to go check that out. Also, before we finish the show, we're going to do a quick giveaway. We did a couple of giveaways last week for some watch parties and got this LA Knight WWE rookie card. I don't know if you could probably just zoom in. Anyway, it was on the preview last week. WWE rookie card, LA Knight, and the rarity. Maybe he would do it for you for an autograph signing, but I got an autographed Max Dupree. He actually signed it as Max Dupree. I actually requested that. I got 3 of them, so I'm keeping one. Because if LA Knight ends up being, a much bigger star in WWE, I definitely want to reflect and have something with Max Dupree on it. So, believe me, some of those rare Husky Harris autograph photos, you see one pop up on eBay, you're talking 3 digits minimum. As long as it's real. So we're going to give away someone tonight's going to win the autograph card of LA Knight and the signed photo of Max Dupree. The Nikita Lyons photo, I'm going to do Wednesday. I'm going to do that Wednesday. All right. I would be very pissed off if I didn't mention this tonight. Last week, we talked about Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills. He collapsed during Raw last week, during that football game. And everybody, people that don't watch football, people that don't know a thing about him, I didn't know anything about him. I mean, he just touched everybody's hearts. Seriously. Anybody that's going to ask me about the Skip Bayless shit, I don't give a shit about Skip Bayless. I give a fuck about that. The bottom line is that when you see doctors post something like this, Damar walked his first lap, not around the floor of the hospital, around the entire hospital on Friday, and he's on a normal to accelerated trajectory. And then they posted this. Damar was able to watch the Bills game yesterday from the hospital. When the Bills ran the opening kickoff back, he was jumping up and down. So, it's not just the physical part of it. The adrenaline goes, the excitement goes. I'm sure that there's probably sadness that he's not there on the field as well. But how could you ask for anything better? That's awesome. I love that. So, Charlie, I can give a fuck about New York nurse strike tonight. We could talk about that Sunday. All right. What we can talk about for a few minutes? Let's talk about Raw. Okay. So, Raw tonight, we had, an okay show. Didn't really stand out to me. Definitely missable. If any of you out there have not watched Raw and you're unsure if you want to watch it or not, you can miss it if you want to. I think the big story coming out of it is the Judgment Day getting a shot at the Raw Tag Team Championships. That seed planting, that could be how they split up the Usos titles, and that could lead the same direction to Roman Reigns. If Roman balks at this, then Adam Pearce could fuck with Roman as well. We also have Bobby Lashley make his return. What happened was Austin Theory came out, and they didn't advertise any matches in advance. We found out most of the matches right before Raw went live. I know Fightful had put some stuff up. We got some other things from a few others out there, filled in the blanks a little bit. We thought, who's Austin Theory's next feud going to be? He comes out there. Guys, I think it's going to be Cena versus Theory at WrestleMania. Even though I threw that idea with Cena versus Logan Paul way before even Logan Paul talked about that publicly, I think it's happening. Read between the lines. Listen to Austin Theory. He's using Cena's catchphrases. He came out there tonight. He didn't just say, the champ is here. He did it exactly the way John Cena used to do it. Austin Theory is going to have a surprise appearance by John Cena. I don't know when. I doubt it'll be before the Rumble. Could be after the Rumble. But there's going to be a confrontation between those two guys. They're going to go with Cena versus Theory. And remember, that was something that we talked about probably, my God, it's got to be like 7-8 months ago. About 6-7 months ago. Yeah, it's about right. Because remember we did that contest that one week? It was a watch party contest. I gave away an autographed photo of Austin Theory and an autographed photo of John Cena. And the idea was that is going to be one of your WrestleMania 39 matches. So this is not new. By the way, speaking of something else that's not new, Bo Dallas. Let's talk briefly about Bo Dallas, and then we'll run down Raw. Bo Dallas was at Raw tonight. Now, we don't know if he was in the Uncle Howdy outfit. We don't know. But need I remind you that many, many months ago, 3, 4, 5 months ago, there were reports that WWE was considering Bo Dallas as a producer, as an agent. If you Google it, the reports will come. I know that sounds like that baseball, natural, whatever that. No, that was the Field of Dreams. If you Google it, they will come. This is a story that's 4 or 5 months old. Today, Bo Dallas was at Raw. We don't know if he's going to end up being an on-air character for Bray Wyatt. I think he does. This is going somewhere. Obviously, Bray Wyatt is feuding with his inner mind right now, but that's got to come to an end sooner or later. If you notice, people are really getting a little bit, antsy with this Uncle Howdy shit. Even with the Alexa Bliss stuff tonight. I thought it was pretty cool what they did tonight, but if you look at the immediate reaction with a lot of fans are like, wow, like another week went by and what did we actually get tonight? Do you feel like you're in control? Okay, Alexa actually just answered that. She's felt great, better than she's felt in a very long time. So we don't know if Bo Dallas will end up being behind the Uncle Howdy mask. Personally, they have to shift eventually from Bray Wyatt feuding with his inner demons to a physical being. They have to. They now presented a person, male or female, kind of short, little stocky. They introduced a human being on the rampway. That human being is not going to evaporate, turn into dust, and we never get the reveal. That'll be almost as bad as the Hummer. Who was driving the Hummer? This is going to be a reveal. So sooner or later, they have to shift from mind games on Bray Wyatt to a person. At the end of the day, Bray Wyatt, Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, Vincent, or anyone else you want to come up with, they can end up being an alliance. They could end up creating an alliance. That doesn't necessarily mean that Bo Dallas has to feud with Bray. But if you think about it, it kind of makes it even more interesting, because if Bo Dallas is involved with a faction and they go up against Bray, that could be a 6-month storyline. I know we don't want it to go that long, but it could be a 6-month storyline. So Bo Dallas was at Raw today. He was backstage. We don't know if he was in the Uncle Howdy outfit. I know a lot of people are convinced that it's him. Remember, when we looked at it 2 weeks ago on the Don Tony show, it's narrowed down to 2 people, pretty much. Bo Dallas or Vincent, formerly of Ring of Honor. It's one of those 2. And I lean towards Vincent because of the hair more than anything else. Someone somewhere is going to eventually snap a picture of Bo Dallas backstage. He ain't walking around with a Kip Sabian bag on his head. You know, from all intents and purposes, Bo Dallas has a ponytail and not much else. So believe me, someone somewhere is going to get a photo of Bo Dallas. And don't tell me that that's hair extensions on the Uncle Howdy thing. That's somebody's real hair. And any of you out there that ever meet someone in person that says, no, man, I'm still think it's Edge, please just slap them. You know, not hard. You don't want to get arrested for assault. Just slap them. Edge. Yeah, he became a diabetic and they chopped his thighs off. You know, Edge is now 6 inches shorter, 7 inches shorter. You know, I know Italian women in their 80s that somehow lose 6 inches of height. Anybody out there Italian that your grandmothers or great-grandmothers or great-grandfathers, you haven't seen them in like 10 years, you've seen them and they used to look at them like this, and now you're like, wow, Grandma, what happened? Like my grandmother, if you ever see the picture, remember the picture I posted with me with my grandmother? If you look at her, she fucking shrunk. You look at Hulk Hogan, she's like almost at like his chest area. And then when I met her the day I got, we got together the day I graduated, I took a picture with her. I'm like putting my arm around her and it's like I'm like hitting her forehead. Yeah, anybody that says Edge, just, you know what? Just flick him in the ear like that. That hurts, but flick him in the ear. You know, don't do no wet willies, especially in COVID era. You'll get punched in the mouth. So we'll find out eventually what's going on with Bo Dallas. But he was there tonight. And Alexa Bliss had a little bit of a confrontation. Now, I was going to open up the show with a little segment, but I was getting little glitches over here. Alexa Bliss comes out tonight on Raw, and she explains her actions last week. She is happy. She is happier now than she's been in a very long time. And then we get this on the Titantron. Talk to me. Talk to me. Oh, wait. I know what it is. Okay, I fixed it. All right, hold on. There we go.
Do you feel in charge?
I could put it a little on the screen now. There we go. So he asks Alexa Bliss, do you feel in charge? Lights go out. Alexa Bliss is still standing on the announcer's table. I didn't like this with Alexa Bliss. She looked like she was going to cry again. If anything, she should have had an evil smile on her face. So the music hits. Uncle Howdy comes out on the screen. And if you look at Alexa Bliss up close, let's see if we get a shot at her face. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, there's Uncle Howdy. And the funny thing is, if you look close, he's laughing. Oh, shit. I didn't like that. Why does she have this look on her face like she's about to cry? Like she's seeing the boogeyman. You just fucking told everyone that you're going to become the women's champion, and you enjoyed what you did to Bianca Belair. You put stitches on her face. And then you see Uncle Howdy, a little bit bigger than the Munchkin or the fucking whatever that movie was. Not the mannequin. What was that? The leprechaun. And let's watch the rest of this play out. There you go. Let's see the laughter. Yeah, you're moving around with your hand. I got to keep doing this so I don't get hit with copyright shit. That's enough. You see him like this, and then we go to commercial. So it's dragging on even more. But Alexa Bliss, enjoyed what she did. We'll see where it goes from here. Yeah, it does remind you a little bit of boogeyman type vibes, But, we got this Mountain Dew pitch black match at the Royal Rumble. Listen, I'm going to go into that with an open mind, but I'm kind of fearing what this is going to end up. Maybe we get a reveal at the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble is going to be fucking huge. The amount of money that they're making from this event, and plus now with Vince McMahon back and, them wanting to negotiate either an M&A or a sale, every event, you got to maximize everything. So I expect something big to go down with this storyline. It's just that the Royal Rumble is still several weeks away. So they kind of got to eat up a few weeks, if you think about it. Austin Theory comes out, as we were saying earlier, and, does his whole, the champ is here. And he's, throwing some insults about Seth Rollins, that he is the now and everything. Seth Rollins comes out, and they have a little bit of a confrontation. And, they exchange some words back and forth. Seth Rollins reveals that he's got a little bit of a knee injury, but he says that his knee will be back to 100% in time for the Royal Rumble. So Seth Rollins will be in the Royal Rumble as far as I'm aware of. Sure, they could possibly do Austin Theory versus Rollins versus Bobby Lashley rematch at the Royal Rumble, but I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at all. But they have a little bit of a back and forth in the ring. Next thing you know, Bobby Lashley hits the ring. Bobby Lashley ends up spearing Austin Theory. Bobby Lashley is not done with Austin Theory. I'm not trying to complain, but this concerns me a little bit because we asked this question, I think, last Monday. Like, who do you see feuding with Austin Theory next? I can't think of anybody. Like, nothing against Mustafa Ali or anybody else, but you look at that Raw roster up and down, I really can't come up with anybody. Gargano has a little bit of an arm injury, but he'll be back soon. Ciampa is on the shelf. Bronson Reed, you saw what they did tonight. I'm sure you all saw it. We got a little bit of a video package tonight for Bronson Reed. By the way, yeah, they are considering tweaking his name a little bit. I hate that font. That font is available on Adobe, and that's like so uncreative, man. That's like something that we would like put on a thumbnail to hype up an episode. But Bronson Reed, before he can even answer a question, Miz shows up. And Miz is talking about us. And Bronson Reed's like, there is no us. You want something from me? Pay me. So basically, Bronson Reed is doing a Dexter Lumis. Like Dexter Lumis was going to do what he was going to do for Miz because he was paying him. So now Bronson Reed is coming across that he's not going along with Miz's program. So they used Bronson Reed for the storyline for Miz to get the money back. And here's the funny thing about it. If Bronson Reed ends up turning babyface again, or he's just a loner, you're going to realize that we went almost 3 months with a storyline with Dexter Lumis and The Miz, with all of those appearances, with the money, with the vignettes, with why he did what he did, with led to a match and poker games where Dexter Lumis is needing the money so bad that he gambles it away, wins more. Then he does double or nothing with Miz, loses it. Bronson Reed makes a surprise appearance, causes Dexter Lumis to become almost penniless. Miz has his money back. And we're back where everybody was before this entire storyline. Like 3 months went by. And you say this, okay, Miz still has his money. Bronson Reed really, it made no sense. Oh, Miz paid me, so I did what I did. Dexter Lumis ends up with the same amount of money pretty much that he had before. Maybe he bought some things and threw it up on eBay. But we did 3 months of nothing, in my honest opinion. I think it hurt Dexter Lumis. I think it hurt him. And for many, 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 many months on these shows, on Wednesday Night Dynamite especially, when people would ask me, who's your favorite wrestler on NXT? For me, it was Keith Lee until he was promoted. Then it was Dexter Lumis until he was released. And I honestly feel less enthusiastic about Dexter Lumis right now than I did 3 months ago. Goofy. It was just goofy. It's not his fault. But, you know, what I am very thankful for is that up until January 3rd, I know officially January 6th, if you want to go with that date. It's kind of funny that Vince came back on January 6th. Anybody think about that? Because of everything that happened 2 years ago on January 6th? Just mentioning it. But, you know, at least you can't blame Vince for the last 3 months of garbage, in my opinion. By the way, thank you, everyone, who is sending me all the websites that are doing exactly what we expected them to do. Oh, the feeling at Raw is uneasiness. A lot of wrestlers are very, very concerned about Vince's return. Blow me. Seriously. It's all clickbait shit. The people that don't like Vince McMahon, there is no mole that is that close to Vince. First of all, Vince McMahon was not at Raw tonight. I told you that over the weekend. Vince McMahon is not going to be in many Raws and SmackDowns in those buildings unless there is a meeting attached to it. They might invite. You're going to see executives from media outlets that are going to be invited to sit front row at the Royal Rumble. They're going to be invited to sit front row at a SmackDown where Roman Reigns is going to do something big. You're going to see, we may not know that they're there, but you're going to find out afterwards that, oh, members of NBC Universal were guests of Vince McMahon at SmackDown and this and that. You're going to see that happen. That is when you will see Vince McMahon at some of these events. And also remember, not everybody in WWE dislikes Vince McMahon. I know that's hard to believe, but, you know, just understand it is what it is. And also think about how much money people made over the last 5 days because of Vince McMahon coming back. Think about the hundreds of millions of dollars that were made because of this. It's mind-boggling how much money people made. And remember what I said about 2020 and 2021. If we didn't have COVID, if we didn't have, you know, the economy the way it was and how everything was tightened up because of COVID, you wouldn't have seen 150 people be released. When did a lot of those 150 people get signed? Oh, well, when they inked the Saudi deal and their stock was $100 a share. When WWE makes money, they try to expand. They sign additional people. They hire, in many cases, too many people. When money gets tight, stock goes down, and funds start showing that there is a decline, that's when you see people released. So, you know, if you want to see people signed, if you want to see people given good contracts, you want to see people wooed out of AEW or people brought back or, you know, former, you know, wrestlers to make a comeback, you know, you have to have that extra expenditure. And you have to answer for all of that. All those investors and stockholders, they will want to know how much money was paid to Austin, how much money was paid for this contract, how much money was paid for this person. They don't give a shit if they sign like a Bronson Reed or somebody like that. That doesn't affect much of the overhead. It's the bigger stars and the bigger events. But Vince McMahon, it's going to be mostly executive part. He'll be in Connecticut. He will be in Connecticut 90% of the time as far as work goes. On occasion, he will be at events. Usually there'll be a business meeting attached to it. So, you know, as far as creative goes, until we actually, you know, get specifics, there's no signs whatsoever that Vince McMahon is returning to creative. No signs. People will convince you otherwise, but that's just the truth. I try to speak facts, not what makes you feel good or feel bad. So Kevin Owens comes out tonight early on Raw, talking about his upcoming match with Sami Zayn, talking a little bit about Roman Reigns. He's going to face him at the Royal Rumble. JBL comes out, a little bit of insults to Alabama, and Baron Corbin comes out as well. This leads to an impromptu match. Baron Corbin loses to Kevin Owens. After the match is over, Kevin Owens spots the Usos coming in from the crowd. He starts going at it with them. Adam Pearce ejects the Usos from the building. But before they go, Adam Pearce announces they're going to do a gauntlet match, a tag team gauntlet, and turmoil, as they called it. And the winner was going to be the number one contenders for the Usos Raw Tag Team Championships. Now, I know what some of you are going to say, because I try to think a little bit ahead. If some of you are going to say, wait a minute, why did Sheamus and Drew McIntyre get a shot at the Undisputed Championships? Why did the Brawling Brutes get a shot at the Undisputed Tag Team Championships? Why did everybody else get an Undisputed Tag Team Championship match, but why is Judgment Day only getting Raw? Yes, the seeds planted, splitting the titles. The storyline is that for some reason, Adam Pearce does not like the Usos showing up on Raw. Adam Pearce feels like the Usos are fucking up Monday Night Raw, causing too much chaos. So Adam Pearce, his logic is, if I get a tag team to beat the Usos for the Raw Tag Team Championships, then the Usos are forced to stay on SmackDown. The Usos, being the Undisputed Tag Team champions, have every right to be on Raw. They hold the Raw Tag Team titles. Adam Pearce, in storyline, doesn't like that the Usos are showing up the way they are, causing trouble the way they are, interrupting the show the way they are. So Adam Pearce is like, okay, you want to fuck with Raw? No problem. I'm going to get a tag team turmoil going, and that winner is going to face you for the Raw tag titles. This way, they stay off of Raw. That's the storyline as of right now. Doesn't mean the Judgment Day will become tag team champions. I think Edge is going to play into this somehow, somewhere. Will the Usos take on Judgment Day at the Royal Rumble? It is possible. I'd rather see that at the Rumble than to see Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, because that is WrestleMania quality. I don't think you burn that by doing it at the Royal Rumble. So, we talked about Bliss, Bayley beating Mia Yim. This was, I don't know, this was a little bit of a mess. You know, some people are not happy with the way Mia Yim is being used. She's losing a lot of matches. Candice LeRae losing a lot of matches. Emma losing a boatload of matches. And it's something that I've been saying now for about 6 months. Now, I know Emma's not been there 6 months. Candice LeRae's been there for enough time now. And do you feel like me, what I've said 6 months ago, that the vibe I'm getting is that Triple H is bringing back people to fill the void of wrestlers that need to lose? Somebody's got to lose in a match. And it's not always 50-50 booking. You do not do 50-50 booking with Rhea Ripley. You do not do 50-50 booking with Asuka. You don't do 50-50 booking with a champion, obviously, even if it's a DQ or a count out or something like that. And it seems like a lot of the people that he has brought back, especially on the women's side, have been brought back to lose, to fill that void. We don't want to see Dana Brooke getting pinned every week, with all due respect to her. You know, if you really examine, you know, people don't want to bring that up because they want to blame Vince. If these women were winning a lot of matches the last couple of months, or even 50-50, and then they start losing, then people will blame Vince. So, Candice LeRae, she loses pretty much dominated by Rhea Ripley tonight. Oh, little tidbit. Before Candice LeRae lost to Rhea Ripley, she was in the back being interviewed by Kathy Kelly, looking beautiful as ever. And Candice LeRae talking about the Royal Rumble. Oh, my God, I would love the opportunity to be in the Royal Rumble. Oh, it's everybody's dream to win the Royal Rumble, blah, 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 blah. But in the background, and we could enlarge it a little bit, there you go. We had that conversation last night, everyone. Rapido, WWE, go to the next level with this. We were talking about this last night, that this Nikki Cross, Candice LeRae stalking is getting a little bit played. It's been 6 weeks already. We've got 6 weeks of this shit. I mean, at some point, you know, you need to take it to the next level. We didn't get that tonight. We just got Nikki stalking once again. personally, I think Sanity will return at the Royal Rumble. I think you might see somebody enter the Royal Rumble. We will see what happens. By the way, shout out to Mikey who sent me this picture. Because Bayley tonight beat Mia Yim. This is a picture of Bayley and Mia Yim from, I think, 11 years ago, wrestling for Shimmer as a tag team. So very, very cool. Thank you, Mikey, for sending it over. I thought that was pretty cool. Never saw this picture before. So that is Bayley and Mia Yim from about 11 years ago. Maybe even longer than that. So Rhea Ripley beats Candice LeRae. Bayley beats Mia Yim. Later on, Bayley is about to leave, and she's with Sky and Kai, and she's confronted by Mia Yim. They're keeping the Becky Lynch tied to this in some way, and next thing you know, Damage Control is beating on Mia Yim even further. So, Charlie says 2012. Yeah, so about 10 years ago. So, other than that, we had the Tag Team Turmoil match, which we said Judgment Day won. But right before we had the Tag Team Turmoil, which went an hour, we had Miz TV. And he was supposed to interview Dominik Mysterio. And as we said earlier, Dominik killed it. So I know somebody sent a super chat earlier about Dominik Mysterio. I'm going to pull it up in a minute. But Dominik looking a hell of a lot like Conan. If you know vintage Conan, you know exactly. Listen, Dominik is very, very close with Conan. Ray is very close with Conan as well. Dominik loves Conan. So I guarantee you, especially the flannel tonight, that was a tribute to Conan. But Dominik comes to the ring, and Miz, trying to interview a little bit about jail, and Dominik is all shooken up. It changes a person. He tells a story that he was in a jail cell with his cellmate, and he heard the cellmate. Apparently, the cellmate was sleeping. He talks into his sleep. And Dominik apparently hears the cellmate saying, I want to beat the fuck out of Dominik Mysterio. I want to beat the shit out of Dom. I want to beat the fuck out of that Latino little dweeb. And Dominik apparently goes down on his bunk bed, goes up to him, wakes him up. So I guess he was talking in his sleep. Hey, you got a problem? And he slapped him in the face. Problem solved. Snitches get stitches. Didn't know when he was going to eat his next meal. And Miz is like, wait, weren't you only in like a holding pen for 3 hours? A few hours? And Damian Priest like, what did you say? Well, maybe I got wrong information. Dominik acting like he's a street thug after prison for a couple of hours. I'm telling you, everyone, it is priceless. Some people don't get the joke yet online. That's what it's supposed to be. He's supposed to be like it's you know what I compare it to? It's a growing up Don Tony story, but I think you'll all appreciate it. I admit it. When I was in my teens, late teens, me and my friends, we would frequent a whorehouse. Corona, Queens, 108th Street, Junction Boulevard. I've told the inner stories of what it's like to go to a whorehouse in the late 80s. And, basically you walk in and there's a bunch of women sitting on chairs. They're all, dressed like prostitutes. And on the TV screen is an X-rated movie. And they give you a little bud nip and they give you a little playing card. And the playing card would have like a special design on it because some people thought, hey, let me go to the deli and get a pack of playing cards. And look, I'll get laid all night long for free. So they would have their own custom cards. And what you would do is you would walk in and you would give the money to whoever was running the thing. In return, you got a bud nip and a card. You sat down. And the movie, trust me, this has to do with Dominik. And the movie was supposed to get you like excited. And the more excited you get, hopefully the quicker you will go when you go in the room. So when you decide the person that you want, let's pick a card. I got a couple of straggler cards over here. All right, the bunny. Just pretend it's the ace of spades, whatever. When you finally see the girl that you want, you get up, you walk up to her, you hand her the card. And then she takes you into a room, does whatever she does. One time, for my friend's, I think, 19th birthday. He was a virgin, and we took him to our house. And very reluctant, you know, kind of like embarrassed, scared. Like, what do you think? We're going to go in the room with you? You know, just have a good time. You know, you're watching Tracy Lords and Vanessa Del Rio and all these fucking Nina Hartley on TV. You know, just go have a good time. So we went, and we're sitting down, and the funniest thing about it, and this is why I always will remember this story, is the girl that he chose had just finished with some fat, 5'2", 230-pound, sweaty Spanish construction worker. He looked like that he had sweat all over his body. The guy came out of the room, walked out, and the girl walked out a few minutes after him and sat down. And my friend goes up to her and goes, this. And we're all looking at each other like, does he realize that she just slept with this guy? This guy looked, you see what Ron Jeremy looks like now? Now he's got dementia and he can't stand trial. Just picture if Ron Jeremy was like a 45-year-old, 260-pound, 5'1" Latino. This guy just left sweaty. And my friend goes up to her and gives her the card. Like, he goes in a room. He's in there for about 20 minutes. He comes out. He's got this smile on his face from ear to ear. And when we left, I don't remember if we went to eat or something after, all this guy talked about was how awesome he was. That she was groaning, oh, baby, Poppy, oh, yes, Poppy, Poppy. This guy acted like he was a porn star. You just broke your cherry. You just got laid for the first time ever. And this guy's walking around, he's like, oh, she loved it. She wanted more. She wanted to give me a freebie. She said that it was the best that she ever had. This and that. The guy thought he was a porn star. You just fucked a prostitute for $40. What are you talking about? That's what Dominik Mysterio is acting like coming out of jail for a few hours. You're in jail for a couple of, what are you talking about? He's acting like he's this hardcore veteran criminal. That's the best way I could describe this, because there are people online like, this is stupid. Nobody acts like that when you're in jail, especially in storylines. No shit. That's what's the beauty of it. Dominik doesn't have a tough bone in his body, supposedly. But he goes and he's arrested. Mommy, don't let them take me, mommy, mommy. And then he's in a holding pen by himself for a few hours. He comes out. New Jack. He ain't fucking nothing. New Jack, I fucked him. You know, that's the whole point. They should have done skits. They got to do skits. Instead of having Powerhouse Hobbs walking the streets of L.A., fucking get Dominik Mysterio to do it. Dominik should go, hey, look, next week on Raw, Dominik's going to go back to his roots. He's going to go to San Diego. You go to the biggest slums in San Diego. Yeah, you remember that? Remember that? I fucking used to sleep in that park. You know, remember over there? Yeah, I used to. He should like walk by and have people playing dice. Yo, remember Powerhouse Hobbs? Remember when you walked past those guys playing dice? And they acted like Hobbs was carrying, that he was packing. They walked by like, stay away from him. Just walking down the street. Stay away from him. Dominik's got to walk and have the biggest derelicts walk. Yo, Dom! Yo, 5150! Yo! And they're not going to creatively do it. I would fucking love to see that, man. Okay, here's the super that came in earlier. Okay, we got to take the picture off the screen for a moment. Hold on. I got lots of pictures here. Ronnie C., thank you for the 10 spot. DT is starting to convince me about Dominik, man. He is so funny, acting like he's a hardened criminal, but only in a holding pen for a few hours. LMAO. Yeah, I'm telling you, the guy, at the whiter and plainer and I don't want to say least masculine, but remember, he's calling Rhea Ripley mommy. I mean, you know, I know the storyline. Look, Dominik just got engaged last week, supposedly. But this storyline, you know, you think about where they're trying to hint. Dominik's all man. So I'm telling you, he is a sleeper hit for 2023. People are going to want to see Ray beat the living shit out of him to the point where he starts crying, "Daddy, please, no, Daddy, Daddy, no, Daddy." He's got to almost cry like a baby. I'm telling you, this is priceless, man. I am sold on Dominik Mysterio. I'm sold. He's such like a scrawny punk as far as the character goes. Why would you not want to see him get his ass kicked? And like I said, I think a 619 is going to be in order for Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. I really do. So while I'm here, shout out to Roger Bear. Thank you for the 2-spot earlier, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you for the 5-spot as well. Thank you for the 7. Lucky 7s tonight. Thank you, Rojo Bear. Much love. And Casey is Raw, Gaming and Wrestling. Can't believe I'm already a member for a year, but I've been a fan for years. I know. I much appreciate it, Casey. Happy 1-year anniversary. And, thank you as always for the support. I do appreciate it very much. And all of you out there, I thank you for your support. If you're enjoying the show, you know what to do. I don't think I need to say it, but very, very much appreciated. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you for that, my friend. So, Solo Sikoa dominates Dolph Ziggler tonight. Dolph Ziggler making Solo Sikoa look like $1 million. I love that they audibly bring up Umaga because he was doing that in NXT. And yes, Umaga died tragically, but Umaga is so beloved, not just amongst wrestlers. We never got to know him personally. We only know of him personally through the stories people tell. Celebrating Umaga is a good thing. Keeping his legacy alive is an awesome thing. Seeing Solo Sikoa fitting on the main roster as good as he's been is tremendous. Sometimes people come to the main roster and they're put in a faction and you just feel like, oh, come on. Just why? Why is this person in this position? Why? I think the latest one, and this is unfair, but I'm going to throw it out there. The latest one is The Rock's daughter. Schism? Why? It's NXT. It's developmental. But, somebody sometimes gets put in a group and, just doesn't feel like it fits. Solo Sikoa is fit like a glove, man. He's really, really killing it. And Dolph Ziggler, making him look like $1 million tonight. So, Umaga will definitely be in the Hall of Fame. And let me tell you something. I really mean this. I'm not just saying it because it sounds nice. I really believe that even if Solo Sikoa was never a WWE star, never came to NXT, I still believe Umaga would have been put in the Hall of Fame soon. I really believe that. Too many people in positions of power that have nothing but beloved stories about Umaga. So, yeah, I think he would have been put in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, obviously. When people die and they die suddenly, tragically, many times they wait X number of years before they're put in the Hall of Fame. But Umaga's going in. May not happen in 2023. Next 2-3 years, he'll be put in. O&R is very complicated. I think you all know that. So, the Gauntlet Turmoil match tonight, OC, they are the first ones to lose to the Judgment Day. Then it's Alpha Academy. They made Otis look very, very strong tonight. Alpha Academy loses, but Otis splashes Finn Balor from the top rope. All storyline. Even though Judgment Day won, Finn Balor is outside the ring writhing in pain. Now, at this time, it's about 10:25 p.m. There's still about 35 minutes left. There's only one team left, and that's the Street Profits. So they ate up about 7 minutes of TV time. They had Adam Pearce out there teasing that Judgment Day was going to forfeit. They were going to forfeit. And if they would have forfeited in storyline, Street Profits would have won. That would have been the end of it. We still got 35 minutes left on the show. So Finn Balor is, he's in pain. He can't get up. Dominik Mysterio is like, you got this. Get up. Get up. And Damien is like, look, I'll work alone. I'll do it by myself and this and that. And Adam Pearce is teasing that he's going to, if you can't do it. And then Adam Pearce is like, well, the other option I could give you is I'll let Dominik take his place. Damian Priest is looking at Dominik, looking at Adam Pearce, looking at Dominik. And then he tells Adam Pearce, all right. So Dominik Mysterio first looking a little bit reluctant, but it ended up being Dominik Mysterio and Damian Priest versus the Street Profits. Let me tell you something. Angelo Dawkins getting in some really, really good shape, man. I mean, that guy, his stock is going up. Very, very unfair how lopsided people look at Montez Ford versus Angelo Dawkins. But I'm telling you, I don't think Angelo Dawkins tunes into these shows, but I think I speak for a majority of you out there. Angelo Dawkins, if you're seeing this, everybody takes notice. The shape he's getting in. Motherfucking dove over the top rope earlier onto Dominik and Damian Priest. That guy, you could feel that, I think some of the buzz online that they were going to split up and he's going to be the Jannetty, I think that shit really got under his skin. I expect Ryan Satin to do an interview with him if he hasn't done one already, and I expect Angelo Dawkins to bring that shit up. The guy, he's getting there. He's getting there. Something's got to change with his career. If he becomes a single star, something has got to be tweaked about him. But he's got something, man. He's got something. Dawkins should be very proud, and he was good before. But you could see a little bit of that weight coming off, and you could see, and it's funny because whenever these guys drop a few pounds, the first thing they want to do is they want to dive over the top rope. You saw Top Dollar do it. You've seen other big men do it. They drop a few pounds. It's like, hey, I feel good. Maybe I could have a little more cardio. No, they're like, nah, I want to fucking dive over the top rope. It's not needed. It's not needed. But ultimately, though, Street Profits lose. Dominik Mysterio cheats to win. Where have we heard that before? Cheats to win. Has his feet on the rope. Rhea Ripley tried to hold his feet up, but the 3 count was already done. And Judgment Day of the winners. They're on the rampway. Street Profits look very, very pissed off and dejected in the ring. Usos music hits. Usos come out. Why Adam Pearce would play the Usos music after everything that went down on Raw tonight still doesn't make sense, but they come out. They have a little stare down with the Judgment Day. We go off the air. And that's pretty much what we had tonight. So, did he have a teardrop on his face? I heard Corey Graves say that. If that motherfucker gets a teardrop on his face, I'll lose it. I got to look at later on to see if they actually, I don't think they would dare do that. Not a real tattoo, obviously. Crest says he did. No fucking way. How did I not see it? That is awesome, man. He put a teardrop on his face. Oh, my God. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I'm telling you, man, I know there's a lot of you that still don't like him. And look, he's not going to be a heavyweight champion anytime soon. I'm not saying he's going to win any gold. I mean, he will. When he wins a title, I think people will be more triggered than Austin Theory. And remember what we said last year. Remember we wrote they broke their cherries? Remember that night, Dominik Mysterio and Austin Theory? I don't remember which week that was. I don't have it in front of me. But they both had one night on Raw, the same night together, that the whole night, it was like, wow, those two guys, they upped their game to the next level. So, again, I'm trying to make Raw seem as good as it was tonight, but at the end of the day, though, you could have missed it, and I don't think you really would have. It would have mattered. If you read the results, you read the spoilers, and you think in your mind, watch a couple of clips on Twitter, I think you would have been, I'm good. Honestly, if I wasn't doing shows, I might have not watched it live, read the results, maybe just tune into a few specific segments to see what went down and how it went down. But I think the big news coming out of tonight is the seed planting about the tag titles being split. So, all right. Before we start bringing this home, we'll do some predictions for New Year's Evil. We got to do a giveaway as well. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with each and every one of you out there. I don't want to get too private about this, but we were supposed to do Podcast Forbidden Door 4 tomorrow. And the reason why Misha Montana and I were going to record it tomorrow is because she has events in Florida and events in California. I think the Adult Movie Awards, what are the AVN Awards, I think is this week. So the only 2 days that she has available is tomorrow and Wednesday. And I told her I really don't know if I could do it Wednesday. So, she's been busy this weekend. out, doing appearances, and she's been with, her boyfriend as well, Matt Riddle. So I don't know if we're doing it tomorrow. So it might get postponed for a week or two. We want to do it before the Royal Rumble because that's probably when Matt Riddle's going to return. He's about to return. Speaking of returns, Pat McAfee. Start putting Pat McAfee back in your mind. It's going to be really interesting to see what WWE does with the announcing team. Remember when I said a while back, I'm not sure Booker T is there for the long haul. I think Booker T, I know what you're going to say, wait a minute, but Pat McAfee was not NXT. I think Booker T was a chain of events that had to shift with the commentators. Wade Barrett, I think, goes back to NXT. Corey Graves stays on Raw, obviously. I think Michael Cole and Pat McAfee reform their team. And I think Wade Barrett, when he goes back to NXT, maybe Booker T stays for a little while, but I think eventually it goes back to Wade Barrett and Vic Joseph. The only wild card about this is Kevin Patrick. I like Kevin Patrick. I just imagine if Vince was on Creative right now, that motherfucker would not be the co-commentator on Raw. Just don't see it. I don't see it. He's very excited. I love his energy now, but a lot of times he sounds like he's out of breath. Counter by Ripley. Oh, don't count. He sounds like he's out of breath. He sounds like me when I walk like a half a block. Just something about Kevin Patrick. I'm trying to, I like him, but for Raw, I just listen to him. Counter by Bailey. You'll notice it now because I said it. So everybody's laughing. We like Kevin Patrick. I just nah. I'll make a bold prediction. Kevin Patrick is not the co-lead announcer, commentator, whatever you want to call, play-by-play on Raw by the end of 2023. I think he's trying. He's good, but I think he was thrown into the wolves way too soon. 3-man team, okay. And I know the timing had to be put together with him and Corey Graves, but something's not catching on. So, all right. Before we do predictions, here's the wheel. Now, before anybody complains, we're not doing a 2 times thing anymore because the thing is, I sent out a private email to a bunch of people who used to be in the watch party, and I said, how come you don't tune in? I'd say about a third of the answers is a lot of people are international time difference. Gets a little difficult. But one thing that the people behind the watch parties were telling me also, that why do you have the same 6 people on the floor every week? And I said, well, because they want to hang out and talk publicly. And they said, yeah, but usually you only have 1 or 2 people, and everybody, you bring someone on the stage for a little while, this and that. So I felt like telling them, you telling me how to do it? People want to show up, they want to have a good time. But I noticed quite a bit of feedback with people you got the same 6, 7 people on the stage, and I don't want to hear them. So I responded back to some. I'm like, there's a little slider bar that you could just hear NXT. You don't have to hear me or anybody else talking. So when you sign up on the watch party, there's 2 volume bars, one for NXT and one for everybody talking. And if the people talking are annoying you, just mute them and just listen to NXT. But this is everybody who was there Friday that hung around for a little while. Some people are cute. They show up for like 30 seconds. Hey, my name is there. Now I got an entry to it. No, it doesn't work that way. So I'm going to spin this live, and whatever it lands on is going to get the LA Knight signed card and the Max Dupree signed photo. I think the card might have not been in focus. There you go. There's a better picture on the thing. All right, let me spin this. Yeah, everybody gets an even entry. That was another thing people complained about with giveaways. Don't force me to talk. Let's see who wins. Let's see who wins. It is coming close. It's coming. Devin M. Devin M. Congratulations, Devin. You got 10 minutes to email me and give me your address. Give me your address. You got 10 minutes. No. You have until the weekend. We give everybody ample enough time. So Q&A mailbag will be up tomorrow. So it should be up in the early evening. And I will post an update on Patreon tomorrow, because if I end up interviewing Misha tomorrow, then Patreon will be postponed until later this week. Everybody's cool with it. So you'll want the dirt about the Matt Riddle stuff. I know. We've talked about it. There's a lot of things that I know that, you know, I'm not saying I'm bragging. I mean, everything makes sense now. And, yeah, it's wild. It's pretty wild. He lives let me just say it like this. Matt Riddle has to write a book when he gets older. He's got to write a book. I just wonder if he'll break the Vince Russo record with the word bro. I could just imagine him writing the book. Can you imagine if him and Vince Russo wrote a book together? Bro, I can't believe, bro, that you keep saying bros. That's my thing, bro. Nah, bro. My bro doesn't mean the same way you say, bro. That's it. Punch me in the face. Punch me in the ear. All right. Let's quickly talk about New Year's Evil. New Year's Evil. No disrespect intended. But I am not a fan of Hank Walker. My God, we used to make fun of Baron Corbin's tummy. Baron Corbin's tummy looks like the devilfish. Remember the red devilfish that I showed you? Baron Corbin's stomach actually looks like a red devilfish. If you ever Google them side by side, that's what got me blocked from Baron Corbin many, many moons ago. Hank Walker, I mean, I don't care if there's an inspirational story that he was knifed 55 times. I don't know in the world of pro wrestling how that's aesthetically looking good. I know he's supposed to be the everyday man, but if any of you out there have never seen Hank Walker without a shirt on, I'd rather watch Ron Jeremy have sex right now at his age and the way he looks. Seriously. I see that Hank Walker and I get skeeved. I mean, I know he's very well liked and people behind the scenes, you know, think that he's just a genuinely good guy and really, really wants it. Man, do a GoFundMe and get plastic surgery. Seriously. I mean, you remember Abdullah the Butcher and how Abdullah the Butcher used to be able to stick quarters in his head, his forehead, because of the cut? I'm not kidding. I think Hank Walker could put a fucking, let me think, like a giant Oreo cookie in the middle of his stomach. I seriously, I think you could, remember the Plinkos from The Price is Right? I think he could take a Plinko and shove it in his stomach. What is that? That's not fun. That's not entertaining. So I know they keep the shirt on him now, but Charlie Dempsey is going to beat the balls out for him. Going to beat the balls off of Hank Walker. The whole idea of this match is they're going to set up Charlie Dempsey versus Drew Gulak. And remember, Charlie Dempsey is the son of William Regal. Charlie Dempsey is going to start getting a little bit more of a push. And with William Regal there as well, love it. So I'm going with Charlie Dempsey. Yeah, Plinko might be a little bit extreme, but I'm not kidding, man. If you've never seen what I'm talking about with Hank Walker, just do a Google search. Just type in Hank Walker NXT. You don't have to write anything else. Just maybe you should disable your safe search. Because if I was in charge of Google and, you know, like I'm in charge, like what's deemed like safe search results and what's not, I know it's usually like porn, but if I was in charge of that and I saw a bunch of Hank, what did I say, Hank Wilson? Isn't Hank Wilson like a country music star? Hank Walker. If I saw that and I'm like trying to like do settings and I'm like, I fucking ban it. I would cause it spam. I put something on your computer. Your computer's infected with the Walker virus. Listen, I should not talk. If Hank Walker somehow sees it, you know what he's going to say? The fuck you talking about? The fuck you got more chins in a Chinese restaurant. Talking about me. I admit it. Let's go. Hey, Tony D'Angelo's ain't winning against Dijak. They want Dijak to be a heavyweight contender as quickly as possible. Tony D'Angelo, I guess, fighting for real revenge on what happened to Stacks getting kidnapped. I still don't understand how Stacks was able to grab the key that was on the table. I mean, how did he grab the key? His hands were attached to the chair. I mean, even if he bent over with his mouth, I don't think Stacks is like a yoga junkie that he was able to twist himself in a pretzel and somehow do that. I got to get a jail key. I got to maybe one day handcuff myself to something and here with my mouth, see if I could. I don't think so. I'm not that talented. Dijak is going to beat the balls off of Tony D'Angelo. Sorry, Tony. Nothing personal. You cocksucker. You couldn't come out and take a picture with the Don. On my fucking honeymoon, too, you prick. In this year, Sanga and Veer Mahan versus the Creed brothers. This is a match I'm looking forward to. I think this is going to be a hell of a lot better than people expect. The Creed brothers are still raw. They still have some seasoning to go. But this is a team, I know kind of in some ways people think Steiner brothers a little bit because of their crazy strength. I think you're going to see some amazing moves in this match. But if Charlie Dempsey's a heel and Dijak is considered a heel, even Tony D'Angelo is also considered a heel, sooner or later you got to get a babyface to win here. And yes, we have somebody later on that's going to win. It's going to be a babyface. I'm going with the Creed brothers. My only concern is that Veer Mahan has not wrestled in NXT in a very long time. Do you really want Veer Mahan to lose like this quickly? Sanga he's kind of like interesting. It's like, if you ever seen his outfit, I mean, it reminds you like Goldberg a little. It's very, very plain and generic. And they've been playing more of the good guys. So maybe you do a DQ here. Maybe Veer and Sanga just flip. They just lose it. And they start just beating the fuck out of these guys and getting disqualified. Honestly, I don't want to see Veer or Sanga get pinned. And I don't want to see the Creed brothers get pinned either. I think they definitely should not lose this match. I'm going to go with a DQ victory. I think Veer and Sanga, they should turn heel. They could be classy and wear the nice outfits and be a heel. Sanga, when he talks to the ladies and being very respectful, I think that's run its course. So I'm going to go with a DQ victory over here. Next, this one is interesting. We have Pretty Deadly having a gauntlet match. They're going to face 3 other tag teams. We don't know who they are. Kind of sounds like Scott Hall. You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. We don't know who they're facing. I've heard the Schism. I've heard a couple other teams. I heard a surprise team. I heard we may even get Alpha Academy, which I think would be pretty fucking cool. This is a gauntlet match to determine who's going to be the new number 1 contenders for the New Day's NXT Tag Team titles. Now, if you remember, I said the Schism is on the fast track to become your next tag team champions. Problem is, that may happen more towards WrestleMania. It's a little too soon for that to happen. So we may not get the Schism that'll win this gauntlet. Problem is, we don't know who the teams are. Whoever wins here is going to probably face the New Day at Vengeance Day. And, could you have the Schism fight then? Sure. But again, we don't know who the teams are that are going to be in this match. But I'm gonna go with, man, I don't think Pretty Deadly is going to win this. They have them featured because they're going to start the gauntlet, but we don't know who the 3 surprise tag teams are. You know what? I'll go with Pretty Deadly. I think Pretty Deadly versus New Day is a match that people really enjoyed, and I think a rematch should be in order. So, yeah, I'm going to go Pretty Deadly. They're going to run the gauntlet. and they're going to get the title shot at Vengeance Day or whenever they face the New Day. So I'm going to go pretty deadly, even though we don't know who the teams are. Next, no, Roxanne Perez will not be wrestling. Instead, we have this. It is a battle royal, 20 women, over the top rope to determine the new number one contender for Roxanne Perez's championship. Your participants are Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, Ivy Nile, Tatum Paxley. If you look at the photo, I'm actually saying them in order. Jakara Jackson, Danny Palmer, Valentina Feroz, Zoe Stark, Cora Jade, Kiana James, Elektra Lopez, Lash Legend, Amari Miller, Sal Ruka, Wendy Chu, Indy Hartwell, Fallon Henley, Nikita Lyons, Laya Valkyria, I finally got it right, and Thea Hale. I think we're going to get Cora Jade. I think that feud ended a little bit prematurely, in my opinion. Remember, this is not WrestleMania weekend, so I don't think Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Listen, remember what I said yesterday? I'm telling you, I think in the year 2023, we're going to get Roxanne Perez versus Bayley. Not saying it's going to happen now, but I think that match is going to happen. I feel it. I don't know why. I just feel it. It just feels too right. But I'm going to go with Cora Jade to win this one. I think Cora Jade cheats to win. Maybe we think she gets eliminated early and she hides under the ring and somebody's going to think that they won and everybody's going to cheer. And then Cora Jade or Zoe Stark will enter back in the ring, eliminate that person, and be the winner. I know you could do that in the reverse. You could have a heel think that they won and have a babyface re-enter the ring and eliminate. You could do it either way. But I think a heel has got to face Cora Jade at Vengeance Day, not a babyface. A lot of people are rooting for Gigi Dolan. Listen, remember what I said the other day about Gigi Dolan? A little toxic split coming soon? Remember where you heard it. All right. Finally, that leaves us with, I think, a very predictable outcome. Grayson Waller, we still feel Carmelo Hayes is the heir apparent for the NXT Heavyweight Championship. Grayson Waller getting the title shot now, a couple of months before Mania, in my opinion, ain't no way Grayson Waller is going to take that championship from Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker will retain. It'll be an excellent match. Grayson Waller is main roster ready. I'm telling you. I hated that guy when he first came into NXT. He reminded me of Vanilla Ice meets John Cena meets something else. I can't remember who the other person was that I said. I just couldn't stand this guy. Little by little, he just started rubbing off on me. And you pay attention to his in-ring work. He is very, very creative with some of his moves. And Grayson Waller, he's got it, man. He's got it. I am a Grayson Waller fan. He's got it. But he ain't winning this championship. I think you do this now with Bron Breakker. Maybe Grayson Waller gets a shot in the Royal Rumble. I have no problem if Grayson Waller is in the Royal Rumble. We don't know if NXT stars are going to be in the Rumble. I think it's very, very possible. With the New Day becoming NXT Tag Team Champions, with, every week now, somebody in NXT gets a dark match. By the way, dark match results from tonight, I got them here for you. Because we did get 2 NXT stars again. Mustafa Ali over Von Wagner. Odyssey Jones over Akira Tozawa. Von Wagner, I think, is this close to going to the main roster. I don't know where they would fit in. I'm not even thinking about that right now. Because remember, going to the main roster is great. Then what is the big problem? So I'm going to go with Bron Breakker to retain. I think it's going to be an excellent match. Grayson Waller, excellent in the ring, but ain't losing. Bron Breakker's not losing that title before WrestleMania weekend. I think ultimately Bron Breakker loses it to Carmelo Hayes. So that is your NXT New Year's Evil. It's going to be fun. It'll be tomorrow. We will have a watch party. I hope as many of you, out there can attend. Remember, it's free. It doesn't cost anything. I expect to be in the house. The only way I won't, I'll be there at the beginning, but if I end up interviewing Misha or having a conversation, I don't like to use the word interviewing, then I'll have to jet out a little bit early. But we'll be doing it tomorrow, and hope you can join us. If not, Wednesday, right after Dynamite, I will be right here. And once again, I got to show it to you. Will the bank be closed? People have put their aspiring journalist careers on the line by saying she will be there. Not that she might, not that she maybe, possibly, likely, eventually. No, they said she will. So I hope they prepared their backup if she doesn't appear. Some of you think it's going to be Mandy. I think that's very possible. Let's do the timeline. I think her 30 days are up, isn't it? I think her 30 days are just about up. Mandy Sachs. Maybe WWE let her out a couple of days early. I know she got fired, so maybe there isn't a 30-day no-compete. So we'll see what happens. But some of you think that it's Mandy Sachs. That's a great choice. And listen, some of you have said to me, what do you mean I have wrong date? I have the wrong date. What are you talking about? It's Wednesday. What do you mean wrong date? I have no idea. Q&A list members only got gabbed. All right. I don't know. It's private conversation going on online. So anyway, a lot of you asked me in the last couple of days, what if it's Mandy Rose that shows up and does something with Saraya? I'm fine with that as well. I just honestly feel this is not, I could care less about those news sites out there. They're garbage. I have to bring it to your attention to make you aware. What you do afterwards is totally up to you, and I respect that. The reason why I just don't see Mercedes going there now, number one reason more than anything is because New Japan paid her a crazy amount of money to appear at Wrestle Kingdom. They paid her a crazy amount of money to work the match in February against Kairi. That they want that match against Kairi to be the first time she's in the ring having a match since leaving WWE. The idea that she would, unannounced, whether she's sitting in the crowd or not, ends up becoming Saraya's partner because Shida takes out Storm early on in the night. I just can't envision New Japan going along with that. The amount, we're not talking chump, we're talking 7 figures. We're talking a lot of money that they paid her to do stuff. That first match is very important. That first idea of seeing her in the ring, a finisher is fine. But to actually have a match, it makes no sense for her to wrestle Wednesday. If she made a run-in, if she's sitting in the crowd and gets baited by Britt Baker, if this, that I'm fine with. But as far as people guaranteeing that she's going to be wrestling Wednesday, if New Japan allowed that, I would be baffled. In my 44 years watching wrestling, it's been that long, in my 44 years watching wrestling, I can honestly tell you that I would put that in my top 10 as the most baffling decisions that I've ever seen in the world of pro wrestling. That New Japan would pay that kind of money to Mercedes Moné, and her first match back ends up being unannounced for AEW. It just doesn't make sense, man. Doesn't make sense. So anyway, I'm going to jet out of here. I hope everybody has a great night. Much love. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. If you know anyone else out there that may like the shows, you know what to do. And if you're around tomorrow and part of our Patreon, you might know what to do, because I don't know yet. If she can't do it tomorrow, then I'll do Patreon in normal schedule. If not, I hope you join me on Wednesday. And I'm out of here. I think I figured out. No, wait a minute. See, this is my fault now. Because people keep saying in the chat room, January 9th, 2022. I just looked at my preview for tonight, and it's 2023. So, I don't know. People are bugging tonight. Everyone, be well. post a comment. I will definitely be reading them, and I will be responding to many of you. And I'm out of here. Much love as always. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all again soon.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.